Our film begins with Joy, who is on the phone with her friend Carmen while preparing dinner in the kitchen. Carmen asks her where she is, but Joy suddenly ends the call when Dirk walks into the house, visibly exhausted and deeply frustrated, as if something serious is bothering him. Joy surprises him with a romantic dinner she specially prepared for him and describes the details of a new dish she cooked. Despite all her efforts, Dirk doesn't seem happy or impressed. Instead, he greets her with a frown and starts nervously playing with his lighter. Joy feels that all her efforts were in vain, that he doesn't appreciate her, and she's too embarrassed to even ask what's troubling him. After a while, Dirk sits with her and admits that his reaction was harsh. He explains that work has been overwhelming and that he's burdened with too many problems, leaving him unable to focus on anything else. Joy listens attentively, but when she begins to speak, he shows little interest in what she's saying. At midnight, a small argument breaks out between them, but Dirk loses control and violently attacks her, trying to choke her. She begs him to let her go until she loses consciousness, but it turns out to be a trick. The moment he loosens his grip, she hits him hard in the face. He then chases her around the house until she locks herself in a room. He stands outside, furious, banging on the door and threatening her to open it. When he sees she's not responding, he leaves her alone. Joy then hears objects being smashed outside, so she stays hidden until everything goes quiet. When she finally opens the door, she's hit with a devastating shock. Her dog is lying dead outside the room. Joy breaks down in tears at the sight. Dirk, slowly coming out of his rage, approaches her with apologies, telling her he regrets everything and wasn't aware of what he was doing. Some time later, we see Carmen standing outside Joy's house with their third friend, Tara, in the car. They're annoyed at how long they've been waiting. Joy comes out carrying a large bag, and we realize they're going on a trip together. She loads her bag into the car, and Carmen drives them off. During the drive, Carmen talks to Joy about everything that happened and expresses how glad she is that Joy broke up with Dirk 6 months ago and escaped their toxic relationship. She asks Joy what she thought of the bouquet she sent her yesterday to cheer her up. Joy admits it was a lovely gesture and that it did make her happy. Carmen tries to check on Joy's mental state, noticing she hasn't been taking care of herself or her appearance. She insists that Joy needs to move on and encourages her to enjoy the trip as a step toward a fresh start. She tells her that this trip was planned especially to help her heal, reminding her that many people have faced even worse and managed to overcome it and improve their lives. She also encourages her to listen to the advice of Dr. Danley, the therapist guiding all of them, since each of the women has her own personal struggles. Danley teaches them how to process the past in every way possible. Through Tara, we learn that Danley is a woman, not a man, and Tara makes a few jokes about her odd approach. Eventually, Joy agrees with her friends and decides to give herself a new chance to recover. They drive down a remote road surrounded by nature, planning to camp at a designated site. While passing by the forest, Tara explains that the place has certain rules they must follow. She also shares that Dr. Danley has strange habits. For example, if she has a scarf over her head, she's open to conversation, but if she doesn't, she shouldn't be disturbed because she's not available to talk all the time. Finally, the group arrives at Little Deer Lake, located deep in the forest. Everyone feels the place is eerily far from the city and completely isolated. They spot a car parked by the roadside, as if it had been in an accident. Joy tries to check their location using her phone to guide Carmen, and suddenly a strange man appears in front of them carrying a bow and arrow, forcing the car to stop. He tells them he and his friend are looking for their lost dog. Carmen explains that they're not from the area and know nothing about the dog. His odd behavior leaves them confused, but they continue on their way after he directs them to the campsite. They can't help but laugh and mock him once he leaves. A little later, Joy remembers her own dog and what happened to him, falling into a fresh wave of trauma. We realize her mental state has seriously deteriorated since the incident, and she's struggling to move on. She hopes this trip might help her in any way, as she's feeling exhausted and overwhelmed. At last, they reach the campsite, where Dr. Danley greets them while supervising some unusual relaxation exercises with a girl named Shayna. When the girls see Danley's methods, they mock her and find her quite strange. Tara explains that she's tried those exercises before and that they're very beneficial for physical health. Later, when Danley finishes her session and joins the group, Carmen pulls Joy aside and urges her to relax and appreciate the beauty of nature around her. Joy tries to calm herself, but jumps in fright when Danley suddenly taps on the car window and introduces herself, welcoming Joy and assuring her that she'll have a good time with the group. Soon after, everyone begins walking with their bags and reaches a strange slope, puzzled by why they're there. Danley reassures them that it will be very beneficial, and all they need to do is follow her instructions. Joy feels that Danley is truly strange. She watches them with suspicious eyes as if she's planning something. As they walk the path Danley directed them to, Shayna insists on talking to Joy, determined to find out why she joined the trip and what issues she's facing. To ease the tension, Shayna shares her own story first. She tells Joy she was a combat soldier who took part in major and dangerous missions, the last of which was in Afghanistan, where she saw her entire team killed in front of her. When Joy begins to open up about her own trauma, Shayna dismisses it as trivial and mocks her before walking away to rejoin the others, leaving Joy shocked and humiliated. We then see a recorded clip of Shayna alone, revealing that she suffers from serious communication issues and doesn't know how to connect with people. While walking, the group stumbles upon a smashed phone lying on the ground. Danley explains that its owner may have been attacked by a bear and died. Everyone becomes fearful at the possibility of a bear attack. Shayna gives them a special spray and explains that it can kill a bear if one appears. At this point, Joy wonders if all of this is just part of some elaborate therapy game Danley has set up. When Danley questions her, Joy doesn't give a clear answer but remains deep in thought. Danley records each of their issues and watches their every move, as if she's secretly planning something. From the recorded clips, we learn that all the girls came here hoping for healing and to return to their normal selves. Carmen speaks about Joy and expresses her deep sadness at not being able to help her through her crisis. She loves her deeply and wants her to heal. Meanwhile, Shayna sits alone, gazing at a photo of herself with her military team, while Joy and Carmen play together, and Tara watches them silently as she carves a small wooden statue. When Joy dozes off, she begins to have terrifying nightmares in which Dirk appears. She sees the place soaked in blood, and finally, a mysterious creature standing in the dark. Joy wakes up in a panic, horrified by what she saw. Joy realizes that the rest of the group is getting ready to continue the nature trek. Despite her extreme exhaustion, she forces herself to get up, gathers her things, and joins them. Soon after, Joy starts feeling like someone is watching them from among the trees. But since no one else notices, she thinks she's imagining it and chooses to ignore it. As they continue walking, the group suddenly stops when Tara says she heard a strange sound around them. The sound leads them to a spot with an unbearable stench, where they discover a lake with foul, undrinkable water. Joy worries that the water they brought won't be enough for the rest of the trip, but Danley reassures them that they'll find drinkable lakes later, so they move on. After several hours, Danley asks them to do a trust exercise, dividing them into pairs. Carmen makes sure to stay close to Joy the entire time, reassuring her that everything will be fine as long as she follows the instructions. Joy covers her eyes and starts the activity with Carmen. Meanwhile, Shayna and Tara begin their own exercise but end up in an argument, prompting Tara to quit and walk away. Joy continues the activity, but suddenly hears Dirk's voice. Startled, she rips off her blindfold and sees Carmen standing calmly. She realizes she may have imagined it, which frustrates her. She storms off to confront Danley, demanding to know exactly where they are. Danley tries to calm her down, insisting that everything she's experiencing is part of the healing process she's planned for them. Later, Carmen takes Joy aside to calm her, but for the first time, an argument breaks out between them. Carmen blames Joy for always being tense and never giving herself the chance to heal. Joy explains that she heard Dirk's voice in the woods and that she's terrified, but Carmen refuses to listen and insists Joy needs to be stronger, or she'll never move on. This deeply upsets Joy, and she walks away. At the same time, Tara heads to a secluded spot to smoke a cigarette away from the others. There, she suddenly sees someone standing among the trees and begins to suffer terrifying hallucinations, imagining her hands bound and covered in blood. Terrified, she turns to leave and finds Joy standing behind her. Tara tells her she saw someone watching her in the woods, but Joy tries to calm her down, saying it was likely a hallucination and not real. Joy then shares everything she's been through and heard during the trip, saying she feels something is off in this forest. But Tara insists it's all just in their heads and takes Joy back to the campsite. On their way, the group is shocked to find something bloody lying on the path. They gather around, guessing it might be a deer's head or something similar. Danley insists they're safe and there's no need to worry, telling them to stick together at all times, then leads them to their next destination. Tara stops to speak with Danley privately, while Joy once again hears Dirk's voice and realizes it's a hallucination. When Carmen joins her, Joy tries to understand what's troubling Tara, but Carmen refuses to reveal any of her friend's secrets. They eventually arrive at another strange location. Joy feels uneasy but remains silent and continues walking despite her discomfort. They all move through a very narrow passage, observing the surrounding mountains. Danley asks them to absorb the energy from the unique stones around them, saying it will be beneficial. Joy is the only one feeling drained, hearing increasingly frightening sounds. When Joy lags far behind, Carmen calls for her, snapping her out of it. She hurries to catch up. Upon reaching a river, they decide to take a break. Joy sits alone, reflecting on everything she went through with Dirk after the incident, while the others eat hungrily. Joy tries to find out the plan and when they'll return, but Danley refuses to give any details, insisting she cares deeply about her patients and would never put them in danger. She asks Joy to trust her and explains that this part of the forest is considered sacred, and many believe it has the power to heal psychological wounds due to a mysterious spirit inhabiting the place that offers healing in exchange for sacrifices from time to time. Shayna interrupts the group, saying they need to climb a bit higher to find a flat area suitable for camping until morning. Everyone agrees and starts moving, while Joy stays back with Carmen to help her gather her things. Joy takes this opportunity to sincerely apologize for anything she may have done and insists she could never abandon her, begging Carmen to stay. They reconcile and Carmen returns to the group, leaving Joy to use the bathroom. Meanwhile, Tara tells Danley about what she saw in the forest earlier. Danley asks Shayna to give them privacy and then begins discussing Tara's mental state and everything she has been through. On her way back, Carmen starts sensing something strange and looks around cautiously. At the same time, Joy feels someone standing behind her and assumes Carmen has returned. She calls out, but no one answers. Fear takes over, and she begins hearing Dirk's voice, his lighter, and even her dog's bark. She sees recurring hallucinations until Dirk appears sitting among the trees. Shocked, she quickly realizes it's just another illusion. As he vanishes suddenly, she starts to feel like she's choking, unable to breathe, but Carmen arrives just in time and helps her back to the camp. Joy tells the group everything that happened in detail and how real it all felt. Tara then confesses that she, too, is seeing strange things, which alarms Shayna. She packs all her belongings and sets a trap in case of a bear attack during the night. They light a fire and sit around it to stay warm. Danley begins talking to Joy, trying to calm her and get her to focus on the next phase of the trip. Joy listens as much as she can, then everyone begins pitching their tents in preparation for the night. When Joy fell asleep, she saw Derek right in front of her, bleeding in a terrifying way. She began to relive the same hallucinations in full detail. She woke up startled and couldn't go back to sleep. She decided to go out to get some fresh air and took her lantern to see. She tried to wake Carmen to accompany her, but she was deeply asleep, so Joy ventured out alone, away from the tents. Suddenly, she was surprised to find Carmen and Tara in front of her. They had been gathering firewood. The three sat together, and Tara started talking about herself, saying she used to go camping with her family when she was young, and that the knife she carried was a keepsake from her father. Joy was puzzled that the three of them had all woken up at the same time, unable to sleep, which made her even more convinced that something unnatural was going on. The real shock came when they discovered that they had all seen the same nightmare, with the same details about a blood-covered creature. The three eventually decided to sleep together in one tent. In the morning, they woke up to the sound of Shayna trying to wake them with her bell. Joy was surprised that Tara wasn't beside them, and suddenly they heard a scream. They all rushed to see what was happening. Joy said Tara might be in danger and they should search for her. But Danley explained that Tara sometimes had strange episodes and might just be playing a game. Danley suggested splitting up to look for her, with some heading in one direction while she took another. While searching, Danley also began to see hallucinations and strange things. Then they all heard her scream and ran quickly toward the sound. When they arrived, they found blood on a tree and splatter on the ground, increasing their concern. Shayna insisted on following the trail, even if it meant risking her life, refusing to listen to Joy and Carmen's warnings. She climbed a small hill and suddenly saw a severed leg on the ground. Intense hallucinations hit her. She imagined herself in a war zone, watching her comrades die in front of her. She crawled on the ground trying to save them, then passed out and fell off the hill. Joy and Carmen rushed to save her, but found no trace of her. They continued searching and found more blood on the trees, but no body, leading them to believe Shayna might still be alive. After a long search, they reached a strange cave filled with large amounts of blood, and they became certain that all the answers lay inside. Carmen insisted on entering. Each of them took a large stick and followed the blood trail, lighting the way with a lighter. Inside, they found Tara locked in a wooden cage and managed to free her with difficulty. Panicked, Tara told them that someone else was in the cave and that their lives were in danger. Despite the warnings, Carmen bravely insisted on confronting the person. Carmen encountered Dr. Danley, wounded and covered in blood, unable to move. As Carmen approached a nearby grave, she heard a strange sound from within. Suddenly, a mysterious creature dragged Danley underground and vanished. Terrified, Carmen ran, but the creature chased her. It was the same one they had all seen in their nightmares. As it neared her, she screamed at Joy to take Tara and run. Carmen reached the river behind the cave and had to jump in to escape. She injured her legs and began to bleed, but managed to reach a safe spot, where she reunited with Joy and Tara. They were relieved she was alive. But the terrifying twist came when Carmen noticed the creature standing directly behind them. She warned them quickly, and they all ran, sneaking into a wooden cage beneath the water to hide. The creature found their location but couldn't get into the cage, so it eventually left. Tara realized hiding wouldn't work for long and insisted they find a way to escape the forest. Joy and Carmen tried to convince her otherwise, but she wouldn't listen, and soon they heard her screams as the creature caught her. Joy and Carmen used the chance to escape and tried to stop Carmen's bleeding with the first aid kit from the camp. In a moment of honesty, Joy confessed to Carmen that she had met Derek the night before the trip, invited him to her home, and spent the night with him. But in the morning, she realized her mistake and kicked him out. He attacked her violently, but she fought back and hit him on the head, then left without knowing whether he was alive. Carmen was furious and felt betrayed, having done everything to help Joy stay away from that toxic man, only to find Joy had hidden the truth. Suddenly, they heard a strange noise outside. Joy decided to go first to check if it was safe. When she was sure, she called Carmen out. But in an instant, the creature appeared above the tent and dragged Carmen away. Joy chased after it, trying to save her friend by any means. But when she realized it had vanished, she returned to the tent, understanding she had no choice but to come up with a plan to defeat the creature once and for all. Joy gathered everything she might need and decided to return to the cave alone to rescue Carmen. She moved cautiously, avoiding any noise, and descended carefully among the giant rocks. She saw human bones scattered everywhere and heard Carmen screaming from a very narrow passage. Determined to save her friend, Joy entered the passage. She was devastated by the blood everywhere and knew the situation was dire. She might not make it out alive. She kept going until she reached another room where the creature stood in front of Carmen's cage. Joy began hallucinating again, imagining the creature was Derek. She approached it, hugged it, and apologized. Suddenly, she pulled a knife from her pocket and stabbed it. The creature screamed in pain, unable to see. Joy continued her attack, sprayed it with bear repellent, and quickly freed Carmen. Before leaving, she decided to end it once and for all. She lit the creature on fire using the lighter she once feared. Finally, she and Carmen made it outside. Joy supported her wounded friend as they crawled, covered in blood, until they reached the car and drove back to the city after surviving all those horrific ordeals. And that's how the movie ends. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more.